So whenever you're ready, Alice.
Okay. I'm Alice Watts. This is the Leeds Magazine Digital Media Marketing Plan. I did a previous one when I first started here, which was breakdown of social media platforms, purpose, types of posts and stuff like that. But because we're changing to a new direction, which is the New Urban, I've updated it. So the New Urban is like our new target consumers, which is 18 to 27. This is a description of the New Urban. We've got kind of a breakdown of like their interests, their mindset, like where they live, which is obviously urban environment. I've done a separate document for producing content, which is kind of sources for trend forecasting and images, like relevant to this demographic. So that means there's going to be a change in all the different digital media platforms, which is mainly social media. I had a look at competitors, mainly for the age group, but we're going to be focusing on more niche topics, whereas these competitors are more mainstream. Because we're going into such niche topics, there isn't any direct competitors. So we've got Dazed and Confused, which focuses mainly on fashion, Vice, international news, High Snobiety, which is for forthcoming trends in news, and fashion, art, news and culture, BuzzFeed, which is the main competitor, quite a big one. Non-broadcast media. This is mainly where most of the marketing will be done. Social media, we've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube already, but they need to be improved for the new demographic. Considering a Spotify account because of the amount of music content that's going to be on the site. We've got content specification, which will be used by the content creators and me doing the social media. A few content feature ideas that are targeted at the interests of the New Urban. We're going to be doing a newsletter when we've got enough people interested in the newsletter to make it viable to be produced on like a weekly or monthly basis. Broadcast media we don't need because we're an online platform, we won't be using television advertising or leafleting or anything like that. For monitoring success, currently we've got Facebook Insights and Clout, and we're going to use Hotjar for the magazine. Dead outcomes. This is significantly increasing the amount of content, number of likes and engagement on all social media channels. And once we've got the data from Hotjar and more extensive from Clout and Facebook, we can move towards more specific, realistic and measurable goals established.
So talk me through it, Alice, because I don't know what the New Urban is. What is the New Urban? What does that mean? Because I've looked at Newby Hub quite a bit, and I looked at your previous one, but you never mentioned New Urban in that previous one. So what is it?
The description's here. It's basically anyone aged 18 to 27, city dwellers, people interested in travel, ambitious, focusing on like their careers. Got a whole list of criteria, so I'll find it.
So are these like your brand values as such?
It's more of a description of the consumer. So this is the different points.
What do you and how do you hope to change the way that you do it? What are you doing at Facebook at the moment? Like, in regards to a plan, what is the sort of output that you're putting out on Facebook and Twitter and that kind of thing, and how's that going to change with this new urban?
Well, the main change is going to happen on the website, so it'll be a change in the content, which will mean a change in what's the kind of articles that are shared across social media. So previously we would have done articles on more mainstream topics, whereas now we're moving into more niche topics such as fashion shows from lesser known cities. So rather than Paris and Milan, we're looking at like Korea, for example. So like things that other media outlets don't necessarily cover.
And how do you know that these consumers will consume that sort of content?
Because they're influencers and trendsetters, so they're looking for new, not popular. So they'll look out for like lesser known music artists, lesser known fashion brands, and if we can provide the information on these lesser known things, we'll be the key source for like the up and coming and the like off mainstream kind of content.
I mean, for me as a plan, what are the targets? What would you class, if this plan was successful? How would you measure that?
The main targets would be an increase in traffic on the website and an increase in likes and engagement across the social media. But once we've gotten a better idea of the current statistics using Hotjar, once that's been built up after a couple of weeks or months, we can look at more specific targets based on what we know is achievable.
What is Hotjar? I don't know Hotjar. Is that a bit like Google? It sounds like Google Analytics.
It's basically uses heat maps, video recordings to measure visitor behaviour on the site. So from that we'll know which articles people are looking at, how long they're looking at them, what areas of the article they're looking at. So if they're watching videos, or if they're reading text, or looking at images, and provide statistics and conversion funnels, so we know who's going on the site, if they're actually interested in what they're reading.
So in regards to numbers, how many people at the moment do you have visiting the site, and how much do you hope that increases to?
We've had, the website's been down.
Oh, right, okay.
For the past month or so.
It literally went up yesterday.
Oh, no.
Can't.
You've got no statistics at all?
Well, before the website went down, it was 30,000 unique visitors per month on average. That's where we were at before it went down, but we're essentially going to take a big hit because of the website. So.
But you were still putting stuff out on social media and things like that?
We was, yeah. It was mainly kind of gifts and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you had nowhere to put content like blogs and things like that?
No.
For a whole month?
Oh, no, it was a month.
It's near enough a month.
It's going quite quick, hasn't it? Yeah. It's been a tough one, yeah. Basically, 123 Reg just deleted our website, so a whole host of different websites as well, but yeah, it's been a hassle trying to get it back up again.
That's happened a lot, hasn't it? 123 Reg have done that quite a bit.
Yeah, it was a big scandal.
How about the content? I mean, in regards to consumers that you said there, I mean, you said they're trendsetters and things like that. Have you talked to them to know that this is what they want?
What Newbie is we are kind of our own demographic.
Okay.
So we've kind of taken what kind of content from like the kind of things we'd be interested in.
Right.
And also looking at what's worked well before. And you've been to the digital marketing seminar for the demographic, so they've got information from there as well.
Okay.
I think you tend to spend a lot of time looking at competitors or publications who target the same kind of consumer. How do you kind of analyse that data? How do you use that to kind of inform what we do?
Basically just looking at what is successful for the magazines. Like for me, like Dazed has got Dazed and Fuse, one of the competitors. They they do focus on niche artists and musicians to an extent, and I've looked at like the way the kind of content they produce and the way they promote on social media, so that's kind of influenced like the kind of content we're doing in a way.
So would you say, I mean, are you going to do the same things as Dazed and Confused? How are you going to differentiate yourself from them?
Dazed and Confused focuses on fashion. It's got a mainly female audience, whereas ours will be more gender neutral.
Okay. How would you achieve that? I mean, you've only said fashion to me for regards to the new content.
Well, there is a fashion aspect of it that goes under one of the categories, creativity, so it won't just be fashion design, it'll be tech. We've got sound, which is basically music, and lifestyle. Our content creators are both male and female, and they write about what they're interested in, so you get a good balance of the kind of things they write about.
And in regards to content creators, are they in-house? No.
Some of them are, yeah. We have a lot of freelancers or volunteers, contributors, but yeah, we have a few in-house as well.
Okay. You got any questions?
So for me, I think I like the stuff about the competitors. I think it will be really helpful to kind of look at some other research into trying to kind of gauge the size of the demographic we're targeting, and have a think about what kind of sources we can use to achieve that. Also be good to set ourselves some milestones. I think, let's review where we are in terms of readership, in terms of likes, in terms of figures, and rather than just using ourselves as a benchmark, let's look at other people, see what they're doing, and see realistically how much we can grow and how much we should be setting those targets for. So we'll have a think about that. I think it'd be really interesting to look further into the newsletter. Did you have any ideas of how we can use the newsletter to, from your perspective, what do you think the purpose of the newsletter is?
Just basically share the most popular articles or the newest articles directly with consumers, like people who have opted in, and then they'll click on what they want, they'll go to the site, so they're converted, and then hopefully once they've read that, they'll read other articles as well.
How would you obtain the email addresses though? Because like in theory, the email addresses you get, I assume, are people that are visiting your site anyway.
We've got currently we've got a pop-up on the site.
Have you? That says.
Subscribe to our newsletter, so it will be people who visit the site.
How would you get new? Are you looking to get new ones or just maintain loyalty with emails?
A bit of both, yeah. I think that for us, the newsletter is important because it's a data collection tool, and I think we need to have a think about how we can collect that data and harness it, and how we can use that to drive insight, rather than just promote. Use it to kind of to collect that insight. But yeah, I think we do need to be looking beyond social media for that insight as well. I think we could have a think about how we can perhaps do some stuff offline, and start gathering insight and feedback directly from the consumers would be an interesting one. We've talked about this crowdsourcing plan, which we're going to go over this week, but essentially that isn't there to promote ourselves, it's there as a data and insight collection method, so I think that will be an interesting one, and hearing your feedback and thoughts on that would be good.
Yeah, I think I agree with Danielle. I think for me the plan is kind of this is kind of what we're going to do, but there needs to be real stated missions there that sort of say we are going to increase our likes by 50%. I mean, I'm making that up, but some, your SMART targets we talked about, they're really useful in terms of, because there's no way here, if this is a success or not, it's very kind of and then it becomes meaningless. I think if you're able to sort of say, and have a look at kind of, I mean, BuzzFeed's probably a good one, Vice as well. How quickly did they grow? Like